$15. No, it'll be about $18. But we'll see at the end of the day. That was only about 80 cents. So this is going to take the route he's taking. I guess it's because it's a Sunday. No, I'm not sure, but at any rate, the thing is, this is going to take slightly longer. So you can see a bunch of those billboards there telling Chinese people what their values are. There you can see how the buildings are constructed right next to each other, one on top of the other. Another thing, for some reason, I think this guy he's worried about something in terms of having his license plate checked or something, and he's driving about 20 miles slower than the other cars. It's just, I'll ask him, 你为什么开得这么慢？
他这个车速不是很多，现在开的这个空调啊，它可能是这个排的稍微低了小了一点，是的。
就你是说你的速度是应该的，他们是不对的。
不是，因为他我的那个车的速度排的还小了一点，就是相对加油跑的不是那么很快呀。
你是说你的应用中 是限制你的速度。
对。
为什么他们不允许你上高速公路？
他这个。
Okay, so I get it. He's playing a little trick. What it found out is that he's got some limit placed on his right to drive over a certain speed limit, and that's why he's taking this way. So of course, that's why originally when he first came on, he started suggesting these alternate routes. I'm gonna query him about the final fee. 但是后来那个费用会多少钱？就是109，对不对？限速60，请注意。你好，那个费用不会更高，因为不会。Okay, all right, 谢谢。He's like, no, don't. He's like, it's not gonna be more.
他因为这不是高速了，它是快速嘛。他说他的路段他是限速的。
All right, yeah, 没关系，不是那么大事，我就是好奇的意思。
谢谢。
So he's filling me full of shit. But he's saying thank you for letting me kind of do this. I imagine he seems to want to pick it up a little bit. So don't be surprised when 80% of the people are. Well, a lot of people get angry and say, how can you live there when 80% of the people are shiftless liars? And I always tell them that's when other people say that. I tell them, look, I can't. Try to look at it from a biblical perspective. Try to have some kind of. You have to have your own values squared away, and how this fits in to things. The sort of take a longer term view, and even perhaps what you can learn from it. You don't learn a better way of doing things. You're not going to find a system that's better than your own back in your home country of Canada or Great Britain or America or France or Germany. You're not going to find that. But you can see how people operate, what they think, how they operate in a system like this, and what they think, how they behave, how they react. And you can see how the original communist dream of making better men, improving men's nature, because according to dogma, according to Marxist-Leninist thought, it was, the private property owners and the bourgeois and the petty bourgeoisie and their values which had controlled and negatively shaped your average person's morality. Well, we've seen that in these societies that tried to do things the Marxist-Leninist way, they ended up producing people with really the mindset of a jailbird, right? A prison inmate. They're 2-bit jailbirds on the take. I mean, all of them, not just some of them, 90% of them. It's very, very rare. The other day I met a fellow, I was really inspired about, it's like, in the Book of Solomon, he said 1 out of 1,000. I could only find 1 out of 1,000. Sometimes I feel that way here in China. Well, I found one the other day. I bumped into him. He owned a small business right up where I had started this video up in Longgang, and he was complaining about the system. He definitely was no supporter of the system. He couldn't get he's having trouble getting his son educated, having trouble completing his enrollment in school, and it's because of their household registration system, what's called the hukou zhidu, his hukou, which most authors will translate it as household registration. when you find it discussed in English language materials. But he could, because of that, his child's hukou was in a different city. He was not able to get him all the educational benefits and services that, and being able to go to school the way other kids would if who have a local household registration. So it's not like the United States, where our Constitution has a privileges and immunities clause, which restricts states and local governments from discriminating against out-of-state residents, all but just in the most certain particular limited circumstances. For example, out-of-state tuition. But outside of that, you could move your child to any city in the United States and immediately enroll him in K through 12 education, right? Local governments can't impede your ability to move around, move freely between the states and cities, etc. But this is not the case in China.